reality is the world needs you to accomplish your purpose, because that's when the world becomes better. My comedy will impact a part of the world, and my purpose will impact a part of the world, and your purpose will impact a part of the world. My goal is to get people to believe that about themselves, because everybody has it.
Put your hands together for Trenton, David!
I think too young to like Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what the hell are you wearing? She's like, I woke up like this.
And once you start chasing it, it's infectious. People want to be around people that are chasing a dream because it's inspiring. And if I do that, I'll die at whatever age, and there's a ton of people, and the one consistent thing is he inspired me to be better, and it was a good life. That's a good life, you know?
Trenton Davis, Father's Day podcast, episode 2. So look, what's real important to me is right before we start 2018, and I'm big on setting goals, right? And so I know it can be a little bit daunting or whatever, somebody don't want to do it, but I remember someone wrote to me, or somebody said to me, if you don't write your goals down, they're just dreams, right? They're just wishes, right? And so once you write them down, it becomes a plan. And so I go through this process every year. You'll see if you hang around with me over podcasts and podcasts and podcasts, I'm really on this theme now about minimalism and just making your life simple. So I want to bring that to the goal writing process or whatever. So this one may not be as super funny as some of the next ones, but whatever, we're gonna get into that. But you'll see how taking the time to be organized will lead to being funny and lead to better performances in the future. For me, when I write down my goals, I just start with 5 or 6 pillars. So my pillars are fatherhood, mind, body, spirit, passion, professional life, and then relationship. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So I start with those pillars, and that's really too many, to be honest with you. We want to make it simple. Probably should be 5, but whatever, we'll deal with it. So for fatherhood, and everybody, I suggest you write your goals and make them yourself. Feel free, if you're watching this on YouTube, to, hey, man, send the comments and tell us what some of your goals are, because it's good to hear what other people's goals are and maybe use them, right? And hold each other accountable. That helps as well. So my first one is fatherhood. And my daughter's Harlan, and I just want to schedule 2 vacations with Harlan in the course of 2018. So she's 5, probably won't be a week long, but at least 2 4-day vacations with Harlan. I want to volunteer at her school at least twice a month. And what that means is I got to go take the background check, and do they drug test? They probably do. They probably drug test. I don't think I got to worry about anything, but I don't know. I don't want to not pass that drug test. They be like, dude, you can't come pick up your daughter. But I know I'd be good on that. If anybody from work is listening, I'm cool. But so I want to volunteer at least 2 days a month, which isn't bad. She's in school every day, Monday through Thursday, so twice a month isn't bad. I know her teachers, they know me. I want to just be real active. And it's so funny when I'm active in her school, because I live like in Temecula, and so it's already 95% white, and so there's not a lot of black people there, period. But there's definitely not a lot of black males and male father figures. So when I come, I show up. They have this thing called Coffee with the Principal once a month, and I'm always the only male. And for me to be the only male and the only black male, it feels good. It feels good to show that I'm involved, and the principal and the staff know I'm involved. And I remember growing up, my dad was super involved in school, and always all my teachers knew that, you know, he was going to be involved. And I think it's a big deal. And I'm getting off on a tangent, but what happens is so many kids, right? And teachers have a tough job, and I'm not shitting on teachers, but teachers have a tough job. And so what can end up happening is if a teacher knows that the parents aren't involved, sometimes they'll just pass the kid along, or sometimes they'll give them a bad grade, or sometimes they'll just say, hey, he or she's got ADD, and they know they're not going to get any pushback from the parents. But when the teachers know that the child is involved, I mean, that the parents are involved, when they're grading that kid's work, all they're thinking about is Trenton going to come up to the school and ream me about this grade I'm going to give. And so being involved has a bigger impact than just Harlan seeing me. It also impacts how the school deal with your children. So for me, that's a big one. So I want to volunteer at least twice a month. And then I want to take a cooking class because I'm a single dad. I'm not a single dad. I'm a single person who's a co-parent. And so I want to take a cooking class with my daughter. I think it'd be cool so that we're not going out to eat all the time. Even though right now all she eats is vegetables, which we'll talk about that later. So that's my pillar for fatherhood. Next one is mine. So I want to meditate at least 5 times a week, and I want to read 15 books this year. I think reading is key, especially for comics. I think we have to be super informed about a lot of different stuff so that we can form an opinion. And if we're not, then it's so easy to just fall back on stuff that I know is going to get a laugh, but it's what I call sexual innuendo or dick jokes or fart jokes. And so if we're well read, it just helps me form opinions. Now it may eventually get back to a dick joke, right? It may eventually come back to a fart joke, but I always say the premise has to be original. The tags don't have to be original, but the premise has to be original. And so the only way to come up with, in my opinion, original tags outside of it, yeah, you can say, oh, it comes up in everyday life, and it does to a certain extent, but the more we're read and the more we're educated, we see things at a deeper level. And if we really believe, which I do, that a comedian's job is to kind of be the mirror and show society its own reflection, then you got to understand what you're looking at, and you got to understand it on a deeper level. I'm super excited. Side note, I'm super excited about Dave Chappelle's Netflix special coming out on New Year's Eve because he's talking about just the one clip that I saw, he's talking about Trump voters and poor white voters being misled. And historically, I haven't seen him do a ton on political humor, so I'm excited to see him stretch that muscle. Which, another side note, thank you, Netflix, for giving me 3 Dave Chappelle specials in one fucking year. That shit is great, Netflix. And I know it's 2 different ways you can look at this, right? You can look at it and be like, yeah, but they're not as good. And so the quality of them aren't as good. But what you have to realize is what Netflix is actually doing is getting you closer to the artist and understanding what art is like. Right? And so we're showing you the process, and the process, especially of comedy, is not, the process is not nice and squeaky clean and sexy. The process is dirty and grimy and make mistakes and you flub a line. And so when a guy like Dave Chappelle, who's many would argue is the greatest, definitely the greatest alive right now, right? We can say that. So when a guy like Dave Chappelle does not have a perfect special, it makes it a lot easier for a guy like Trenton to go to the Laugh Factory and work on material and not give a fuck if it's not great. Because Dave Chappelle's putting shit on Netflix, it's not perfect. Still better than my shit. I'm not saying that. My point is, I'm okay with Netflix having so many comedy specials and they're not all great. Because it used to be 20 years ago, right? It's like 3 specials a year on everything, 4 specials a year, right? Maybe total. Now you got shit, man. You probably got, I don't know what the number is. Probably 100 specials a year, maybe, depending on if you count all the networks, HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central, Netflix, Hulu. You probably have 100 specials a year. And so it's great, man. It's not all going to be perfect. And so it gives anything that gives an artist the license to not be perfect is actually a good thing because it pushes the artist to get away from being afraid of not being perfect and just create. And the more you create, the more good stuff that happens. So anyway, I want to read 15 books a year. So that's a little bit more than 1 a month. And it happens quick because I'm on planes all the time. If you have book suggestions, please send them my way, comment. I'm reading one now called Sex at Dawn about I don't want to give it away because I don't know, but I know it talks about monogamy, and that's definitely something I'm going to talk about in one of these podcasts because I think monogamy is some bullshit. Um, I do. I just think it's. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind. My future wife, if you hear this, don't hold it against me. Whatever. I just don't think we can acknowledge it's not natural. I think we can acknowledge it's not natural, right? Maybe it's necessary, kinda, but I don't know. And when we talk about that, we're gonna talk about divorces and alimony, and this is all bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's a system set up to keep people in check, right? Understand, make no mistake. I'm totally getting off on a tangent. That the system, the matrix, is set up the Matrix wants you to get married because we know if you get married, you're gonna have kids, you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna buy a car, you're gonna be in debt. And then if you're in debt, we can control you. And you have to stay now at this 40-hour, 50-hour a week job that you hate because you gotta pay off all that fucking debt. All right? The Matrix wants you to get married. Make no mistake about that. The more you are free, the more the Matrix doesn't control you. Whole nother tangent. Sorry, apologize, whatever. I want to take a meditation retreat. That'll be cool. I don't want to take a long one to like India. I just don't know if I'm ready for that. But like a 2-day retreat, maybe somewhere in San Diego or wherever. I think that'd be cool. So that was the mind pillar. I've done the fatherhood pillar. Body. I got to get back in shape. I used to be in a lot better shape. So I'm gonna do my P90X. Get back on my P90X. Do that 5 days a week. Pilates 3 days a week. Quit smoking Black and Miles. I can hear it in my voice, and I realize that my voice is my tool, and so I gotta honor the tool that the universe gave me. So I gotta quit smoking fucking Black and Miles, and then I'm going to at least embrace a vegan diet 5 days a week. So I'm not gonna eat meat, but maybe 1 day a week. I don't know. I flirted with veganism for probably about 4 months, and I really liked it, and I lost some weight, and I liked the way I felt on it. But it's like I said in my first podcast, there are still remnants of slavery that still impact us today. And so I grew up on meat and barbecue and fucking pork, and so it's hard to just to quit cold turkey, but if I want to live the life I want to live and be around a long time for myself and my daughter, I'm gonna have to make that change. So probably do no meat for 5 to 6 days a week, maybe meat once a week. I think that's my thing I want to go to. All right, so the next one is spirit, and spirit and mind can sometimes be the same one. Spirit is I'll probably go to church twice a month. Look, man, I'm not super religious. I come from a religious background or household. I don't even know. It's a whole nother conversation. I don't even know necessarily. I guess I do. I do believe in Jesus, but I don't believe Jesus was the only messenger from the universe. I think we've had several, similar to again the Matrix. At the end of, you remember the end of the second Matrix? Anybody that's a Matrix fan, you remember the end of the second Matrix when Neo is talking to the architect, and he goes and he has a conversation with the architect, and the architect says, there's been 5 of you. And Neil's like, what do you mean there's been 5 of you? He's like, we've destroyed the Matrix 5 or 6 times. We do this all the time. And that's kind of what I think about Jesus. I think Jesus is real. I think Muhammad is probably real. I think Buddha is real. And I think it's just different iterations of the one, for different groups of people, right? And I like, you can't tell me that this one deity was specific for this whole group of people. And I have conversations with my mom, and we talk about, Jesus is love, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but 98% of the reason that I'm Christian is because I was raised in America. That's 98% of the reason. Like, if I was raised in China, it would be something different. If I was raised in India, it'd be something different. So you can't tell me that a God that's full of love would really be like, well, you should have been born in America. Now, Republicans believe that shit. Republicans think God loves America more than he does China. But when you get elevated to a certain level spiritually, it's hard for me to believe that the universe or some deity likes this part of the world better than another part. It's just doesn't make sense. So when I say I'm going to go to church, I'm not saying that I'm super religious. I'm saying I do believe in a higher power, and I think it's good to connect with people that also believe in a higher power. And I'm only talking about twice a month. And so, whatever. Passion. I think passion is important. I think everybody should have a specific set of goals for their passion. So my passion is comedy, obviously. And so what I did, the idea, what I want to do for passion is I want to write for at least 1 hour, 5 days a week. I want to make sure I do a podcast. And so here we are. I said I wanted to start a podcast, so hold me to that. You guys got to watch it with me, so I'm, feel like I'm not just talking a minute. I started writing a pilot, or I guess a sitcom loosely based on my life in 2017 called Industrial Sales. I actually started in 2016, called Industrial Sales. So I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to write 12 episodes. I'm going to rewrite it. I was writing 35-minute episodes. Now I'm going to pare that down to 7-minute episodes. And I'm going to release 12 episodes for season 1 of that in 2017. So again, one of the biggest obstacles for writing like my own sitcom was like, who are you to think you can write a sitcom? But again, the same thing I said about Netflix is when you're like, when you give yourself the freedom to not be perfect, you get a lot more shit done. And so I would, if any artist is listening, just don't worry about being perfect. Hey, I'm gonna write this in a sitcom. It's gonna be like a 7-minute web series, and every one will be 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know, whatever. And it may be shit, but it may be really good. But I think we all remember Tyler Perry's first productions were shit, and now the dude's almost a billionaire. And so it's okay to not be perfect. I think that's the ego that makes us think we have to be perfect, and we don't want to put anything out until we're perfect. But I think it takes a lot more guts to acknowledge that you're imperfect and put stuff out, and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna finish 12 episodes of Industrial Sales in 2018. I'm putting that out there. Hold me to it. And then I'm writing a book. So the book is called Don't Quit Your Day Job, and it's about everything we're talking about here. It's just talking about how do you balance having a day job, being a father, and chasing your dream, and how do you do it the right way? And so most movies or television shows like American Idol, blah, 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 they give you this myth that there's this one day and you get discovered and all of a sudden you got millions of dollars and everything changes in your life. And it's just not true. That's not how the journey works, right? And the reality is you don't want the journey to work that way. You don't want your journey to be one day, right? Because then you don't learn anything. I wrote this quote down because I wrote it last week on my Instagram. But it reads, your journey is the universe's gift to you. The finished product is your gift back to the universe, right? So when I do a joke, it's not mine anymore. It's the universe. I'm done. When I do a 30-minute set and it's really good and it makes people feel good, it's not mine anymore. It's done. I'm done, right? The journey is what we own. We own the journey because that's all the learning and the good and the bad and the experiences, right? I got the opportunity in 2017 to go to Jordan and Bahrain and Abu Dhabi and Djibouti and Niger and Ethiopia. And so, I got the journey to go over to the Middle East and to Africa and perform for our troops, right? So the journey was mine. Nobody can take that away. That's the universe giving me that gift and be in Africa and to learn about, my culture and to see people that look like me and to be in a country where all you see is black people, right? That's the universe giving me that gift, right? But when I was on stage for those 20 or 30 minutes a night and I'm making those troops smile and laugh like they haven't laughed since they've been over there, that's my gift back to them. That's my gift back to the universe. So I want to write a book about this process and now how do you have a day job and how do you sustain a day job? Which day job do you get? If you know you want to chase your dream, which day job do you get? Why it's so important to finish college, right? And even if you know you want to be an artist, it's still great to finish school so you can get a job with a lot of flexibility. And so the reality is education doesn't necessarily guarantee you a job, but it'll give you a better shot of getting a job that allows you the freedom to chase your dream. And so I'm going to write a book. It's not going to be long, probably 150 pages. And I remember I remember going on that trip to the Middle East and Africa, and one of the comedians that was there was like, "Yeah, we were talking about merch and what we sell after a show," and he was like, "Yeah, I sell a book," and he draws. Ironically, now we're talking about Shane, but do you draw? And so he draws. And he's a fantastic artist, and and he was like, "Yeah, I sell them at the show," and I was like, "Man, I should write a book." And again, here we go. Immediately, our own insecurities like, "You can't write a book." And I was like, "Why fucking can't I write a book? If Dr. Seuss can write a book, why can't I write a book? I can write a book, right?" So I'm gonna write a book. I don't know if it'll be great, but I'm okay with the first one not being phenomenal. But I'm gonna have that book finished by 2018 and have it published somewhere so I can get it online and I'll sell it at my shows along with my T-shirts. Um, I didn't talk about this in the first one, but I'm super big on just kind of motivation and chasing your dream. So my T-shirt reads, "It's never a convenient time to chase your dream," and that's what I sell at my shows. And so I want the book to be kind of go right along with the T-shirt. The book will be motivational, and the T-shirt will hopefully be motivational as well. And so feel free to go to my website. You can get them from me at www.trentondavis.com, or hit me on Twitter at Trenton Comedy, or Instagram at Trenton Comedy, and then you can get that. Professional, so for day job, I just want to hit my sales number, and I want to just hit my sales number, and that's really it. Like, as long as I hit my sales number, I'm in a good place, and I got separate goals for work, but that's really it. And then relationships, I don't know. I wrote relationships down. I really don't even know. I don't know. Who knows, man? Do I want a relationship? I don't know. I'm chasing my dream. I'm having fun. Let me be honest, and I'm assuming nobody's gonna hear this. Two things. There are two competing. There are two competing thoughts when it comes to a relationship. One is, hey, it would be cool to meet the girl of your dreams, fall in love, blah blah blah. That'd be great. The other is, hey, it would be cool to be single in Hollywood after you've made it. Not forever. I'm not saying until I'm 50 like I'm George Clooney, but like 2 years. It would kind of be cool to sleep with Instagram models, okay? I'm being honest. It would be neat. We can't say that, but it would be cool. I don't know. Maybe it's probably better that you get a relationship, especially now that all the sexual harassment stuff is going. You probably should just be like, hey, I'm just going to have one girl and not look. But Kevin, look, all right, I hope he never hears this. He's going to hate me. But Kevin Hart, he just got married, had a baby, and he got caught up cheating. And look, there's a part of me that's like, hey, it's fucked up. He shouldn't cheat. But there's another part of me that's like, if you marry the most famous person on the planet, are you really naive enough to think they're only gonna sleep with you for the rest of your life? Like, I'm not that naive. I think I'm attractive. I think my dick is an adequate size. I'm not naive enough to believe that a person is only gonna be with me for the next 50 years. Do you know how arrogant you have to be to think that a person is only gonna be with you for the next 50? It's just arrogant. It's just, I don't know why we do this, America, this whole monogamy thing. Like, can't we just go in and just be like, yo, I'm gonna do my best. First of all, why is it a requirement? Let's just even ask that question. It's not a requirement for anything else. We're never like, oh, you can only eat pizza. We're never like you can only live in California. We're never like you can only wear jeans. So why is this a requirement? Why is the hardest thing to be required a requirement? All right. And whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's right or what's wrong in that one. I'm just saying I have different thoughts based on different feelings based on the day. And sometimes you're around Christmas and you want to be in a relationship, like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's a random Thursday and you're scrolling on Instagram. You're like, I do not want to be in a relationship. So I don't know. Because these Instagram chicks got the power. By the way, hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Trenton Comedy. I will do comedy if you want me to come to your photo shoot, ladies. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, relationships. So on that one, I'm going to just leave it up to the universe, okay? I'm not even going to set a goal. I think it's dumb to set a goal. And now, look, if you're in a relationship, set a goal. Set a goal. But for me, I would rather just say I spend more time with my daughter and spend time with my parents and my brother and sister and family. I don't necessarily have to be in a relationship in 2018. Now, if somebody comes out the woodworks and says, "Hey, Trenton," and it works out, I'm not going to shun a relationship. Um, I'm acknowledging, right? I was in a bad relationship. I was in a toxic relationship for like 5 or 6 years, and it should have been done. I should have left in 2015. I'm sure she has her perspective, and from my perspective, like women always say, my truth is I should have left in 2015. And I'm not gonna bash her, right? I'm not bashing women. I'm not gonna bash her. But having spent 2 years too long in it, it was toxic and negative and depleting emotionally. And so the idea of doing that again is scary. And I'm not looking forward to it. And then there's a whole nother dichotomy or different thing that you look at now, because now I got a 5-year-old daughter. So if I'm in a serious relationship now, that person is going to be in my daughter's life, and I don't take that lightly. I don't take that lightly at all. And so I don't know. We'll see. I'll let 2018 bring whatever it brings. I know I'm going to the Bahamas to perform at the Atlantis in May, and so that's dope. I kind of don't want to be in a relationship when I'm in the Bahamas. I would prefer to be single. So, universe, if you're listening, you can do it after the Bahamas trip. You can feel free to introduce me to Halle Berry when I get back. I don't know, or any of them Instagram models. You know what's so funny, man? My mom says to me, she's like, "Trenton, don't you want to get married before you make it big, so you know that she loves you for your money? I mean, loves you for you and not your money." And I'm like, "No, I'm okay having a gold digger." Let me make sure I say this to you, Instagram mom. I'm okay having a gold. That's a part of a contract. You're saying to me, I have to have a certain amount of gold for you to be with me. I'm okay with that. And look, if I lose that goal, you're free to leave. But conversely, the rule is you have to keep a certain body and stay at a certain age. And if you get older, I get to leave you. That's the goal. That's the rule. So, yeah, maybe I'll just have new 30-year-olds every year, right? But look, for that year, when it's your year, you don't have to pay for nothing. You can ride around in private jets and shit. And once you hit 31, you have aged out. I'm joking. That's probably fucked up. I don't know how many women are going to like that one. I'm joking. It's a joke, whatever. But, yeah, I don't know if I want to. I definitely don't want to be in a relationship in May. So whatever. I'm not gonna press that one. So that was my goals. I hope you guys stay. I know I went around a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm gonna just go over it real quick. So the pillars were fatherhood, mind, body, spirit, passion, professionalism, and relationship. I went off on a tangent on relationship. I'm sorry. Write your goals down. Send them to me. Hit me on at Trenton Comedy, or hit me at Instagram, or hit me on YouTube. Write them down, man. I think it'll be good to talk about them. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Have a good night. Have a good Christmas. Happy New Year. See you next time.
My comedy will impact a part of the world, and my purpose will impact a part of the world.